Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Real Deal and welcome to my YouTube channel if this is your first time. So please like, subscribe. Obviously that like helps other people see this, inspires other people to try and do the same thing, acquire rental properties and grow their portfolio utilizing creative finance. So please help out our channel and smash that like button. Now, in this video, we're gonna go through 334 North 83rd Street, how we acquired the deal, how we funded the deal, what the construction costs are going to be, what our exit strategy is going to be, and ultimately what our long-term plan is on this property. Let's get right into it.
Welcome to forever, man. Let's go. Come on. It's forever. No surrender. Yeah. You know that this right here forever.
We are standing in front of 334 North 83rd Street in Mesa, Arizona. Look up the address. As always, this is a real deal, which is where this series originally came from. I talked a lot about other wholesalers on YouTube, talking about properties they did or didn't do, or they assigned this and they did that. Guys, I encourage you to learn only from people who are really doing this business. If they're not giving you addresses that you can't pull up public information on, and they're not giving you access to their HUD statements, settlement statements, etc., they're not actually doing this business. Stop spending your money like I have in the past, learning from people who actually are not in this business. They're just in the business to sell affiliates and get you to get them YouTube subscribers. Now, I'm not against that. Obviously, that's what I'm trying to do as well. I want to buy more deals. That's the purpose of our YouTube channel, is buying more deals and letting people know that we exist. In fact, if you guys have deals in Arizona, Georgia, Florida, Texas, or now Indiana, plus Las Vegas, not all of Nevada, but just Vegas, please send us your deals at 480-819-9295. I have 3 people that work in my JV department, joint venture department, that would love to look at any deal that you have. That being said, here we are at a real property that we really own, so look it up. We're going to go through how we acquired the deal, where it came from. We're going to talk about how we structured the deal with the seller. We're going to talk about how we funded the transaction, because you know I'm all about buying properties with no money out of my pocket. And then 5, we're going to talk about the exit strategy and construction costs associated with that specific exit strategy. So this property was built in 1973. Which is a major problem for real estate investors. Why? Well, because you guys can see right here, it's actually a double wide manufactured home. Now, any manufactured home built 1976 or later, older, prior to 1976, are ineligible for financing through conventional banks. So what does that mean? That means if I bought this property in order to fix and flip it, and then I went to sell it to a family on the MLS or through a real estate agent, that family could not get a bank loan to buy my property. That's a major problem. That means the only people I can really sell this to are people that have a tremendous amount of cash, which this is not that type of neighborhood, or 2, I would have to sell it on seller finance. Now, I'm a big believer in not selling everything on seller finance. I want to hold everything long term, because that's the truest way to build real wealth. I get all of the benefits when I'm the owner of the property, and I don't want to be the lender selling on a seller finance. So this property, 1973, was actually brought to me 2 different times. The way that we acquired this property was from a wholesaler. But the first wholesaler that brought it to me sent it to me on a text message and said, hey, I would love to sell this property to you. $85,000 is my purchase price. I said, I'm sorry, that property is a 1973 mobile home, and I know that I can't go sell that for $150 or $165 like other houses in the neighborhood, because those other houses are 1967 or newer. This property is 1973. That's a major problem for me. So I told that wholesaler, go back to the seller and ask them to sell it to you on seller finance. If they do sell it to you on seller finance, I would be happy to pay you an assignment fee. What did that wholesaler do? Well, he basically never replied to me. And 2 days later, I get one of my students from Subto.com, one of the students in my mentorship program, Blake Smith, who I've bought multiple deals from. In fact, I had made $115,000 on a deal he sold me last year. So Blake is crushing it. If you're not currently following Blake, go follow him on Instagram. He's not hyperactive, but you should definitely reach out to him and collaborate, do deals together. He's a great guy. Now, Blake sends me this same address 3 days later. I didn't even realize it was the same address because we get so many addresses sent to us. I just look at it and I go, oh, 1973 or older, I would need to buy that on seller finance. He says, oh, I've already structured the deal with seller finance. Guys, 2 days later. So the other wholesaler has to cancel the other contract. I then come to it comes to me again a second time, but this time it came from somebody who knows how to structure creative finance deals. So here's the deal. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath. It does need a full rehab, and we're gonna go through that in a minute. The terms are purchase price $75,000. So Blake was actually able to get it lower than the previous wholesaler. 5% down to the seller. So what is that? That's about $3,750. $3,700 down is all I had to pay to get this. And $400 a month for 20 years until it's paid off. That is amazing. So this property that I will be paying the seller $400 a month for, I will rent this out for $1,400. I can tell you that's an amazing deal. Now, we'll go through a little bit more of the numbers a little bit later in the video, so stay tuned as I break it all down, because I want to make sure you see the construction costs and you see other things associated with it, because guess what we did here? I didn't buy this with my own money. The $3,700 plus closing costs and renovation and the assignment fee to Blake and all the costs associated with this came from where? Didn't come from me, didn't come from my own personal money or my credit or anything like that. I have a private lender who brought the money in and is getting an interest payment every month for putting me into this property. So that private lender, her name is Allison, she gave us $38,000 at a 10% interest rate so that we could pay the 5% down to the seller, pay for Blake Smith's assignment fee. Isn't that cool? I paid his assignment fee with somebody else's money. That's freaking cool. I paid for the construction, I paid for the closing costs, and I paid for a few months of payments until we get it stabilized with our future renter. And all of that money came from somebody else's pocket. So I own the property, I will cash flow the property, I will get tax depreciation, I'll get appreciation, I'll get all these amazing benefits of owning this property, and I'm $0 into this deal. That is the power of leveraging the seller to sell the property. They didn't check my credit. In fact, I've never spoken to the seller. Seller doesn't even know my name. This was assigned to me, and I now make the payments to the seller through my LLC. The seller knows my LLC name, but they never check my bank balance. They never check my credit. They never check my credentials. They never even looked at my company website. Nothing. They just worked out a deal. We went through Title Alliance of Phoenix, and we structured a deal that made sense for both parties. So kudos to Blake for earning $10,000 on assigning this deal to me when the other wholesaler refused to go structure it with the seller. So here we are inside this magnificent manufactured home. It is amazing how big of a cash cow these properties can be. They're a lot of fun to own. We do have minor issues here, so we're gonna go through the construction. But again, let me remind you how we got here. Wholesaler couldn't structure at Creative Finance. One of my Subto students was able to. He made $10,000. I raised all the capital from one of our private lenders named Allison. Allison gave us $38,000 to pay for the entire project. Now let's break that down. If $3,750 went to the seller, about $1,500 went to Title Alliance of Phoenix to structure the deal. By the way, if you're in Arizona, Title Alliance of Phoenix is the best for creative finance, traditional real estate, fix and flips. They're unbelievable. They help us do everything. Okay, so Title Alliance, they got paid $1,500. Then Blake got his $10,000. So here we are now at $15,250. I've got $23,000 left over. So here's the budget. We're putting $20,000 into this home. Now you're gonna go around the property and you're gonna say, how are you guys doing that for $23,000? It's one of the most common questions on my YouTube channel and my comments down below. So quick reminder to make a comment down below, any questions you have for future videos. But it's one of the most common questions I have is people say, how are you doing it for so cheap? Well, guys, we've been doing this long enough. We understand how to find contractors, how to manage them, and ultimately how to make our budgets really, really stretch. We know where to get the materials. We have discount codes everywhere we go. And our guys, the people who work for us on our projects, have worked for us for years. They are on staff. We do not worry about having to bid against other contractors and having contractors take advantage of us. So if you're in the Arizona area and you want to do a fix and flip with us, leveraging our resources, please let us know. We'd be happy to do a project with you. So we're putting about $20,000 into the renovation, and then we have $3,000 of miscellaneous costs. What are those $3,000 in miscellaneous costs? Is they go to the $400 to the seller, they go to utilities, they go to other miscellaneous things. In fact, we make the first 2 payments to Allison, the lender, out of her own money. Isn't that cool? A lot of people don't understand that. I bring in enough money that I make Allison's first couple of months of payments. I make the first couple of months of payments to the seller. So while we're renovating the property and looking for our tenant in the weeks to come, the property is paid for with somebody else's money. Obviously, I don't have a renter in here, so somebody's getting paid. The seller's getting a daily rate, and my lender's getting a daily rate. So, oh my gosh, for most people, they'd be stressed out. How am I going to afford this? That's the beauty of raising capital the right way, is that you can bring that money in, pay the payments with their own money, so that by the time I have a renter move in here and I'm cash flowing, I am in a good situation. Okay, so what are we going to do with this property? How does this break down? Well, if I have a $400 monthly payment to the seller, well, I obviously have insurance and I have taxes. That's another $150 between the 2 of those. This is a low taxed area. Now, my property's in Texas. I have a few Airbnbs in Texas. Those things have crazy property taxes. But in Arizona, we actually have very reasonable property taxes that don't cause us issues. So $400 to the seller, $150 to insurance and taxes, and then I have a private lender now. So let's do the math on that. My lender has a $38,000 loan against this property. And if I'm paying that lender 10%, let's look at that. $38,000 multiplied by 0.1, that's $3,800 a year. Divide that by 12, that's $316 a month. Interest. That is interest only. So think about that. Write down some questions, pop some questions down below, because I'd love to do a video all about raising private capital. How I pay the lenders back. What do the lenders say? How do I find the lenders? I'd love to do more videos about that so I can give you guys massive value. So if you guys really like learning this stuff, hit the like button, make a comment down below and say lenders. So I know that that's something that you want to see more of in the future. So between that, so I've got my 316 plus my 400 plus my 150, I'm at $866 a month. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add another $140 a month in a safety net, okay? I call it my war chest. And what does that mean? That means that $140 a month will get thrown into a war chest account just in case I ever have repairs that need to be done in the future. So about $1,500 to $2,000 a year get put into a savings account so that we can pay for repairs and those types of things. So this property will net $400 a month. Now, the great thing about this is not only will I net $400 a month on this, but I also am paying down my lender $400 a month as well. This lender is at 0% interest. So I'm paying down $400 a month, I'm net cash flowing $400 a month, and I also get depreciation and appreciation along the way. This is an amazing deal, especially since I didn't have to jump into this deal with any of my own money. So what is the retail value of this property? That's the crazy thing. What's the retail value of this property? I would say the retail value of this property is 75 grand. 75 grand, and I am going to be into it about $110,000. Think about that. Why did I buy this property? If it's only worth 75, why did I pay 40 grand over retail? Well, because it's an interest-free loan that the seller gave me. And I'm also cash flowing $400 without actually having to be in the property any of my own money. So Yes, the tenants are going to rip the house up. Yes, we've dealt with that for years and years and years. We self-manage all of our properties at this point. So it's very easy for us to come in and do little repairs. We have people that work for us on staff. So creative finance is amazing. I would have normally first off, I wouldn't have been able to get a loan here. It's a 1973 mobile home. So I got a loan from the seller, a wholesaler who brought it to me. They didn't want the deal, so they made $10,000 assigning a seller finance deal to me, and I'm making all this money without making any investment on my own behalf. All right, so let's go through and have a conversation about the renovation. $20,000. What we're gonna have there is we're gonna have dumpsters, we're gonna have demo. Right now we're in the demo phase, as you can see by all the B-roll that I recorded for you. And we're gonna be putting in vinyl plank flooring. We're gonna be putting in a very standard paint, pure white semi-gloss that's easy to wash. Guess what we're putting in for the cabinets? Used cabinets. We have companies like Stardust and other companies that have secondhand stores where we can go in and buy an entire cabinet set for $500, have our guys install it for $500, and we have a full kitchen cabinet set for $1,000. We then do Formica, we do used appliances, we then do plastic inserts for the tubs, and we knock this thing out really quick. This project will probably be done in the next 15 days, fully ready to rent out, and it'll rent really, really quick. We're very conservative on the $1,400. We believe this might be able to rent for closer to $1,600. So we might be making $600 a month on this one deal. Pretty cool. All right, so as I walk through the property, we're gonna have a conversation about what we're gonna be doing in this house. You can see that overall, it's in pretty decent shape. Most people look at a property when they walk in and they see all of these little, debris, and they get worried about these types of things. Obviously, this is not what it's gonna look like. There's no glaring issue. There's no holes in the walls. We're even gonna replace the windows in here for about $1,500, all within that budget. So this kitchen will get a used kitchen. We'll paint over top of the wallpaper, and all the doors are intact. We're gonna put a new plastic insert in here. We're gonna do a Home Depot cabinet, something really inexpensive but efficient. And then ultimately, this is another small little bedroom here. Actually, I think this is the laundry room in here. Yeah, so this house even has a whole laundry room right outside, which is really, really cool. So this is a 3-bed, 3-bath. And the renovation is going to be very simple. You can see we'll just paint this, put a light fixture, doors will stay, outlets and switches will probably stay. We might even paint those. We've done that in the past. Just make them look really nice and clean. You can see how quick this renovation is. That's how big the house is. So this is an interesting type of deal. I get people that come on ride-alongs with me and they come and learn, and they see a property like this, a double wide trailer in the middle of nowhere, and they say, gosh, I don't want to own properties like that. Is this what you guys are as slumlords? Guys, I'm telling you, the tenants we have that are in these types of properties are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And they also are hardworking people. They end up doing a lot of the repairs themselves because they don't want to call you. They don't want to bother you. It's the houses I own that are very nice. We have multiple homes that are $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 that are, rentals or lease options. And those tenants are pains in the butt. They have a little nick in the drywall, they call us. They have a problem with their garbage disposal. Instead of them realizing it was them clogging it themselves, they call us repeatedly until we come over and crank it and it turns back on. So we like these properties. They're easy to get in, low rental rate. I mean, rent rates are crazy right now. So people are loving properties like this, freshly cleaned up. They have good yard space with a nice gate that can lock, so they can put their own trailer and camper and those types of things in properties like this. These things rent so quick, and the people who rent them are very appreciative, and they ultimately do take care of them. All of our manufactured homes that we have rented out are amazing. They are absolutely amazing return, amazing cash flowers. They make tons of cash. So think about this. Most people would look at a property like this and say, okay, that's cool. But think about it from the aspect of, I can have 10 of these paying me $400 a month or $600 a month. And if you have 10 of these, that's $72,000 a year in income. Just 10 of these. That's it. Sometimes we'll buy 2 of these in a week. So think about the income that we can make as you stockpile and stack those chips. It gets almost kind of crazy. You can make so much money in this business, it's ridiculous. And when people talk about freedom and they talk about financial freedom, this is what they're talking about.
Introduce myself, they call me J.O. N to the easy E-N. Know that we undefeated, y'all are beneath them speeches trying to air a grievance. But his lines are overhead, better check the air.